Hey there, I'm Mark.
I'm Evan.
On this week's podcast episode, we talk about the dying of the light.
We turn Mark into depressed, into motivated, all over the spectrum, but he's happy at the end of it.
Yeah, just look at me now.
Welcome to the Something to Poop podcast. Mark is late. We have our show scheduled all the time, 3 o'clock, and he is over 1 minute late, so we just start.
You didn't get my...
as a lesson to Drager to show up on time, get his act together.
Hey.
Be ready. Don't give me the hey. So we're recording. We're rolling.
I sent you a note 2 minutes ago. Check your Facebook Messenger.
Send me a note.
No, read what it says. Read what it says on the podcast.
We're rolling. Read what it says.
Yeah.
We're buying time for Mark.
No.
Podcast. Hey, man, I got to pee. Awesome. You got two options. You pee 5 minutes before the show like I did, or you start the show on time and you pee your pants. Greatest show ever.
Greatest show ever. Welcome to the Something to Prove podcast.
I already welcomed them a minute ago.
I know, but I thought that so first of all, I was logging on. It still said 3 o'clock, and I was like, yes, I made it. But by the time my camera turned on, it was 3:01, 1 minute late. Secondly, I thought that if I got in front of it and talked to you about it, you'd be forgiving and gracious and grateful, especially if I was as honest as like, man, I really got to pee.
Wait, this is me being gracious.
Oh, if you weren't gracious, you'd hang up on me.
It's not happening.
Well, then you're welcome, audience.
Exactly.
Evan is so gracious because we have
welcome.
a podcast this week.
There you go.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Excellent. Thursday's your day. Usually you're high energy at this point in the day.
What did I have today? Yeah, I didn't have as many. So I've been doing more. I've been interviewing people. I'm on the flip side. So now this is more like pensive, curious, trying to create content mode as opposed to like, that was amazing. Oh my God, let's go. Yeah.
My eyes are burning. I'm so beat. Yesterday I got up at I got to work just after 6. I stayed till 9:15 because
we're going to the office now. That's new.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow because we're completely turning over the space. So
what does that mean?
We've pulled everything. We moved everything to the middle of the entire office. We've cleaned everything.
Take us on a tour.
We've painted guided tour. Okay, so guided tour. So this is our lobby.
Mm-hmm.
So
the seats are gone.
Well, everything's been pulled to the middle. I'm standing in my lobby. I'm facing our sign. That banner's getting reprinted today because new logo's going in, but all of our award shelves and everything. This used to be a gray wall. It's going white. It has only one coat of paint. We've repainted the entire office, which is 2,500 square feet. So far, we only have one coat on everything. But our main area.
We is like you, Mark Drager.
Me, we is me right now. This dude right here, Louis Vazenios.
What's up?
He got all of this is our post-production editing center.
We want to see a Louis power high five.
What's up?
Like a power high five.
Yeah.
Like a
Except
power.
for COVID.
No, that's already a weak start. Power high five. Oh, you're not touching each other?
Wait,
we're not touching each other because.
What if?
Hold on. Okay, real quick,
there you
guys.
go.
We're gonna use some sanitizer on our hands first. Oh, that's a lot, dude. That's like.
Okay, all right. Okay, what do you?
That is so much sanitizer.
Okay, wipe your arm.
A power high five. Power,
okay.
Like it's gotta hurt. I want to see some blood after something.
Here we
Bruises.
go. We've sanitized. Are you ready?
Does he know that it's power?
Yeah.
Did I do it? One more time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he doesn't
better.
know. It's power. It's power high five.
Oh.
And then my daughter Rachel is helping paint as well.
All right.
He says hi. So all of this stuff was all of the baseboards have been painted because they're wood. Anyway, this is our main area. We have all of our design and editing happens here. Typically, we've cleaned all this out because we're repainting all the space. This was an orange wall. This is where all of our normal staff, like producing staff and PMs and writers, work. And so we've been in this space for 5 years. My idea was that when I came to visit during COVID, the place was empty and it felt lifeless. And I know people will make it feel like a family and feel like a great company and all that stuff. But it was a bit like walking the halls of high school after you've graduated. You know, like one time I went back to high school after I graduated, and I was like so excited, and I realized that I didn't know anyone there, and no one knew me, and I didn't care, and it was just a building. It didn't have any soul to me, it didn't have any heart. And so I'm walking through this place a few months ago, and I'm like, man, I don't want my staff to come back after COVID to high school. I don't want them to come back to the same old thing that they just took a break from. I want them to come back to something new and different and fresh. And if it's as simple as, and maybe it's not, but to me, it's as simple as moving the desks around. We've been here 5 years, so maybe it's a different perspective. Relaying things out, changing all the artwork so it's more extraordinary and actually represents us. Repainting all the space so it's really fresh, clean, and white. It's worth the time. It's not really even money. It's just time, a lot of time. So I'm beat because I got here at 6 a.m. yesterday. I worked till 9:15. I got here at 6 this morning with Rachel. I got a 13-year-old up at 5 a.m. And tomorrow is another day of just trying to make it happen.
Well, I realized two things. One, there's no good reason for being late for the show.
I had to pee.
By himself in the office, just painting. Unbelievable. And two, all you're missing is the basketball net.
You want a basketball net here? Basketball is not your thing.
He doesn't remember. Oh, sad days.
I don't remember what.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts, fam. He doesn't remember. All right. That's fine.
I don't remember what. I'm not into basketball, am I?
No, he doesn't remember. It's all good. Okay,
Are you talking about my childhood when I used to play basketball?
No, I gave you a good recall there, but it's fine. It didn't work. It's my bad.
No, I'm very curious. What did I even forget? Because I'm becoming a feeler and my memory's lacking now.
Your one word
is extraordinary. Extraordinary.
No, think back to when I was talking about your one word. The book.
Okay.
Basketball net.
Let's let the awkwardness just stew there. Is this a reference to the book?
I was talking about the book and talking about an extraordinary environment and doing an interview show or something where I talked about my friend Mark Drager and his extraordinary office, which had a basketball net.
Yes, which we didn't. And I said to you, we don't have a basketball net.
And here he is talking about now making his office extraordinary again.
Okay. Wow. That's a deep cut. That's such a deep cut that I had to pull that from like a specific folder in a specific drawer in my brain.
I'm just saying.
I'm surprised I didn't get that from basketball net.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. How did you not get that from basketball net?
Well, I don't find a basketball net extraordinary, but will you? Should I put it in so that way you can come to my office more often and find it extraordinary?
It's just one of those nice full circle moments to bring back things from the past, to cement our friendship, to show how much we remember each other. But it kind of just ruined the whole thing. So let's just move on with the show.
Oh, wow. So now now another thing for me to worry about this week. Oh man, relationships. Been a challenge for me this week, but yeah. Anyway, so I don't know if the team. I mean, I've told the team we're doing this. I didn't run it by them. I don't run stuff like this by my team. I just do it, and I think it's amazing. Here's a full circle moment though. Like you came over to my office to help, and we were helping you with brand strategy for TDS, and we had cool artwork, like things that I thought were cool up on the wall. We had these cool Star Wars posters and other things. And you were like, you really like Star Wars? And I was like, yeah, kind of. And like the moment, like your reaction in that moment, I bought them because I know Star Wars is cool because people on my team like Star Wars. I like the first few Star Wars, but I'm not really that obsessed with it. And I kind of thought the design was cool, but it didn't represent me. It didn't stand for anything. It didn't mean anything to me. This is a few years ago. I wasn't in an environment where everything that went into the environment had to stand for something. And your reaction was like, you had just such an allergic reaction to like, why is that up on the wall? Take that down, smash it, throw it away, burn it.
Wow.
Like that was your reaction. You didn't say those things, but like it looked like you threw up a little bit in your mouth. Like you were just
I probably did. Yeah.
So against it. And so when we're doing this now, it's just like, if it does not mean something, it does not come into the space. And so yesterday, Louis like, hey, Mark, I got these two amazing paintings that I was given. We're going through our relationship thing. I'm not going to hang them in my apartment. Do you want them for here? And I said, what, they're not good enough for your home, but they're good enough for our office?
Oh, wow.
And then he's just like,
Wow.
never mind. He's like, never
Wow.
mind. So
Wow.
your conversation on Star Wars posters meant something to me. If he wanted them in his home, then they should be good enough for our office.
I
But if they're
remember
not good enough for his house, then they're not
I
good
remember
enough
the
for
Star
this.
Wars pictures, just like I remember the basketball net.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving on.
Are we?
Moving on.
Anyway, so this is what I'm doing right now. So it's an incredible amount of time. It's I feel like it's an Evanism because it's actually a total distraction from the quote unquote important things that I really should be doing.
Podcast.
And yet it's like, we've been here 5 years. When you're in a space for 5 years and you have a team of, 10, 15, 20 people in and out all the time carrying gear and stuff, like, just the place gets dirty. Like, you don't even realize until you pull everything out how dirty, how beat up paint gets, how all the doors have smudges on them, even though we clean them and stuff. So I feel like it's a, environment's important to me. I know it's important to you, but
Poo bags.
there's no poo bags here, buddy.
Oh,
There's not even really a desk in my office pretty soon.
We remembered it. We remembered what poo bags meant. Very exciting.
Oh, yeah. It's called Raise Your Standards. Raise your standards, Mark. But
what's our show this week, Mark? What are we doing?
Anyway,
Or
yeah.
no.
I'm proud of myself. I'm working really hard. But here's the thing I was thinking about. And here's the thing I was thinking about. And
You had homework after our last episode.
I had homework. I was going to report something back to you. What was the homework? I was thinking about this afternoon. That I was going to tell you that I did something really great.
Not the Love the Weekend last.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude.
Yes.
He's gone full crazy
it.
deep end. Can't remember anything.
Love it. Yeah. At least I was thinking this. That's what I was thinking this afternoon. That we need to start like some kind of hashtag or campaign for.
I'm surprised he even has clothes on right now. This is ridiculous.
Love it least. I don't have much clothes on, but yes, love it. I think we should start the hashtag love it least. Love it least. Love it last. Love it least. Right? Yes. Don't love it less. Love it least. That's what Evan said. And I feel like so Monday morning I woke up and I was really struggling. Saturday I was excited about the day. Sunday, you kind of ruined it because I was starting not to love at all what I was doing because I was like feeling guilty for loving it Saturday. And I'm supposed to love it. I'm supposed to love it, but love it least. It started feeling guilty. And then Monday I woke up feeling terrible. And in about 2 minutes, I turned it around so hardcore that I got so fired up. And I've had some really busy, some tough, hard days. But even yesterday, even today, working here in the office, I love what I'm doing for the company right now. But this is one of those things. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm making progress on that, dude. Do you not feel it on Instagram? Have you seen my Instagram post the last few days? Well, I've been bringing it to Instagram.
All right.
So that's my update. I don't know what else you want me to update. I don't know how to quantify the hashtag love it least, but I feel like I'm making progress simply by awareness.
All right, great.
And yeah, I've told everyone. I've told Jack for accountability. I've told Louis that Evan wants me to bring the same type of intensity that I bring to my weekend life projects to the business, because the business is not just a weekday project.
That's not what you told your wife, though. That's what you told your wife?
Yeah. Is that not what you want?
No, what you tell your wife is I want to bring the same level of intensity and happiness and joy to our relationship as I do to my weekend backyard projects.
That she can feel. That she can feel because I've spent a lot of time focused on her and the kids. So even today, having Rachel here, like earlier in the week, she expressed a little bit of an interest, and I was like, Rachel, like, you're going to get up at 5 a.m. You're going to be super bored. You're going to do all this stuff. And she was like, she's ready for it. And she hasn't been bored because she's been working since 6:15 this morning.
And she gets some Louis energy injected into her. Come on now.
There you go.
Around Louis.
But here's what I've been thinking about. And I know you'll take this somewhere, so I'm not really worried about how far it'll go. So I heard a study earlier this week that talked about happiness.
Okay.
And part of me went, this doesn't apply to me. And then part of me in my gut went, oh, maybe it does. So all the previous studies I've heard about happiness talked about the fact that the ultimate happiness is at around 17 years old, because that's the ultimate level of freedom with the least amount of responsibility in people's lives. So you get more freedom as you get older, and then eventually you get more responsibility, and it removes the freedom, and then eventually you lose that responsibility, you get more freedom again. Now, this study basically said slightly different. The idea is that, well, let me ask you, when do you think self-reported the age of ultimate happiness is? Self-reported. So they interviewed 10,000 people, let's say. Everybody had to say what they felt the age of ultimate happiness was. What do you think the age was?
If people aren't actually doing work to try to make it better, just by default, everything I've read has been in like 40s or 50s or something, like way older, not 17. I've never seen 17.
So this study says 83.
Oh, okay. So older.
And
yeah.
What it basically said was that happiness is a U. So when you're a kid, it starts quite high. And in your 20s and 30s are actually the unhappiest time, because that's when all of the optimism, the hope, the high hopes of life, all the things you wish and dream about doing, real life kicks in and it scrubs away people's hopes and dreams. And then in their 40s, it's tough. And at 53, they realize that this is it, that this is life, that it's not going to get better, it's not going to change. And they accept it. And ultimately by 83, they're as happy as they were as a kid, because that was just the life they lived. This is what the study said. And I went, well, that doesn't apply to me. And then I thought about my 20s and 30s and how I have such high hopes for myself and how I'm secretly really afraid of that I won't live up to my own expectations and all these things. And the amount of anxiety I have and all these things. And so I thought, well, this doesn't apply to me. I feel bad for everyone it does, the normals, let's say, not the non-crazies, the normals. But at the same time, maybe it does apply to us. That seems terribly depressing to me, to think that people have dreams, hopes. It's like real life just knocks them down, it scrubs away. And ultimately their acceptance that this is all that life is the thing that pulls them out of happiness, back towards, I guess, contentment.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
You
have no opinion?
That's the problem I'm trying to solve.
Which is why I thought you'd have lots to say about it.
But it's just, I mean, I don't know that I have much to say on it. I think it's just, you can find lots of different ways of saying the same thing, whether it's
people are terribly unhappy.
Yeah. Great. Another study shows that people are unhappy. Another thought leader talks about how you had wonderment as a kid, and and not Neil, what's his name? Oh my God, it's gonna drive me nuts now. DeGrasse Tyson, is it Neil?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who talks about
jumping in the puddles, like hoping parents let their kids jump in the puddles instead of telling them, no, walk around the puddle because you're gonna get dirty, right? All of it. Black Lives Matter stuff I see right now of like a woman, there's a Asian woman who posted a video of her 5-year-old daughter, and she showed her pictures, and it's like, what do you see about these pictures? And there's an Asian girl, and there's a white kid, and there's a black kid and a white kid hugging, and a black girl and an Asian girl, smiling. It's like, well, what do you see in this picture? It's like, they have different dresses. What else you see? That's it. Not seeing the difference in the skin color. Right? Mm-hmm. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's choosing and designing a better life. It doesn't have to be a you. It doesn't have to be a you.
But aren't you, I know you're not happy all the time. Aren't you afraid of not being happy?
No. Happiness is a choice. Once you even find that you're not happy, you can choose to be happy. With intention, you can bring it back to happiness. For sure, I'm not happy all the time. I don't think anybody's happy. Kids aren't happy all the time. They can snap into it super quick. Like Hayden is upset that he died in League of Legends, and it's like the worst thing of all time, and he can't do anything, and he's raging to that, like, oh my God, I just did so well at this other thing. Like it just flips in a second. Yeah. I honestly don't know how much of that is like society beaten down or parents instilling the fear, or just as you age, if it's just biological thing. Like, I don't know that if you put a kid out and was actually raised by wolves, that they would come out any differently in terms of a happiness scale. But it's a choice that you can make. Like you look at puppies. They're probably happier than older dogs. They're playing. They get excited about everything.
I like older dogs. You know, the ones that just go,
Yeah,
just sit there.
so, but the goal isn't to be happy necessarily all the time. It's to be intentional. And when you're not feeling how you want to be feeling, whether that's happy or something else, to be able to come back to the intention and then start to live that. And you can do that in a second if you wanted to.
I just thought it was super sad that acceptance in your 50s, that this is all that life is the thing that starts to pull people towards contentment or happiness 20 or 30 years later. Like it's I don't know. That's just.
But great. So what do you do? Well, you can choose now.
I just don't want that to be me.
So don't make it you.
I know. I still have the high hopes. I'm
but
afraid that I won't live up to them. I'm afraid that I won't live up to them.
You're already off the you.
It's an S now. No, I don't know. I don't know what.
No, but you're flattening the curve the other way.
Yes.
You're already doing it. You're already not that. But what's the line? I don't know if it's from the Bible. You have to guard against what do you have to guard against? Guard against something? What do you have to guard against? There's a famous quote.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. It's basketball net all over again.
Guard against.
Ever since I became a feeler instead of a thinker, my memory has gone out the window.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, you're off. I don't know what it is, but you have to guard against it. You have to guard against it. You have to guard against it.
Guard your heart?
No. Guard against falling into the you. But you're already way off course of where you should have been. In a good way. You're flattening the curve up instead of down. You're not living the you life. You've already done the you. You've already passed the bottom.
I feel it. I know that I am. I feel an energy that I haven't felt in years. I have a conviction. You know, I was going for a jog earlier this week, and I use Otter is a transcription app. So while I'm running, I say things to myself that I want to put into my IG posts. So that way I can just talk out what I think a post could be or should be. And I can do it a whole bunch of times, and then it just transcribes it. And I was thinking about conviction, or belief, or conviction, or purpose, or whatever you want to call it. But just an idea that you believe to be so true that you just have to pursue it. For a few years, I felt like I lost that, and I feel like I have it again. I'm worried I can't put the pieces. Like, honestly, I've been thinking the last few weeks, I'm worried I can't put the pieces back together. That the last 2 years I've done a really good job of deconstructing things. I've done a really good job of figuring out what's important to me. When push comes to shove, I'm willing to sacrifice things, but maybe I'm sacrificing so many things that I'm losing the core of what I have, and that I won't be able to put the pieces back together. And then I'm going to look back and be like, well, I did a really good job of very slowly blowing my life up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you shaking your head for?
The more you're talking,
I'm telling you my fears. Like,
no, none of that matters. None of that matters. The more that you talk, the more optimistic I get, because I realize there's a difference between what a kid considers happy to what
a grown up.
What kids see as happiness is well,
typically it's excitement or joy.
Well, that's it. It's like ignorance. And just feeling the moment, which is great to be present. But what's lacking is what you just said. What's lacking is purpose. What's lacking is contribution. What's lacking is knowing that what you're doing. Sure, gratitude. I don't lean in as heavy on that, but sure. But yes, if that's how you're wired more, what's lacking is gratitude. What's lacking is like the love of your wife. Like, all of that stuff, the feeling you get when you know you've helped somebody. A kid doesn't process that. I mean, it feels good to help somebody. Oh, I did a good deed. But to actually know that, like, when I'm staying after for 5 hours answering questions in the lobby after a workshop, I'm happier than I was when I was 8 years old playing around the kids' play yard.
I call that
It's a deep level of happiness.
I call that feeding your soul, which is
you don't get as a kid.
I use.
So this is wrong. This isn't even a flattening the curve the other way. It's actually upwards. I think with practice and repetition and work, you can be happier than you were when you were a kid.
I think so. I mean, I believe that, which is
great. That's why everything you just said before, and I was shaking my head at it because you just said, yeah, I think so. I could be happier than I was when I was a kid.
No, I know that I can. I guess I segment in my mind the difference between my ambition and hitting my goals and succeeding and happiness. I think that if I hit my ambitions and hit my goals and live an extraordinary life, I will be happy. I think that if I don't do those things, I can still find happiness, but I will have disappointed myself. Do you understand? Like I'm still gonna. What?
Do not go gentle into that good night.
Do
not go gentle into that good night.
That had nothing to do with guard.
Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light.
What is this, Psalms?
I don't know what that's from. No, Dylan Thomas. It's not a Bible thing.
Oh, okay. It sounded like something from Psalms.
Rage against the dying of the light as opposed to guard. Rage against the dying of the light.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's what you do. So when you're feeling unhappy, when you're feeling like there's no purpose, and happiness, an expanded version of happiness, this is the same as like it least, not like it less. Love it least, not love it less. It's the exact same thing. I'm raging against the dying of your light from Monday to Friday.
And through awareness, through you just shining a light on it, I can now see what I couldn't see before. You know, whatever that principle is, the FedEx logo principle, like once seen, you can't unsee it.
No, but you're going to unsee it all the time. You have to.
Like when I was in college, there was this woman in my class who I thought we got along. I thought we were I thought we were friends. I thought we got along. I asked her to help me with a project. She respectfully said no. And like all these things for like a year and a half. And then at one point she just lost her temper on me, just freaked out and went on like just ripped me apart. And it hit me. I was like, oh, she doesn't like me and she's never liked me. She's been just being very polite and putting up with me, but she thinks I'm loud and obnoxious and all these things. And then all the pieces fell in place for all the times I asked for help and I thought we were getting along and all these things. And she was just being very polite and she couldn't stand it anymore. Once you point out on the weekend, hey, Mark, you like the weekend a lot and you don't like the week. Like I see it now. I take steps to change it. I'm worried that the steps I'm taking to change it are blowing up my life and relationships to the point that that I won't be able to rebuild it.
Jesus.
What? You could say that, but talk to me because I'm more like everyone else than you are.
The thing that made that woman not like you is the same reason why some of your old staff don't like you.
Sure.
It's a constant raging against the dying of the light.
You can say that. I don't know if I have it.
Of course you do. Just because you found it once, it's the constant. If you want to grow and get better, then that's going to constantly be a limitation just of you getting through the next step. It's a constant reminder. This is why habits are success. What does a good husband look like? It's a daily practice. And some days you'll let yourself down. And if you, just like your office, let things continue to deteriorate, sometimes you may not notice it until something big like this happens and you realize, oh my God, this feels like coming back to high school and it's been 5 years of letting the office get beat up and dinged up and lower our standards for what an office should be. Mm-hmm. It's constantly being vigilant. If COVID didn't happen and you weren't away, how long would it wait for the office to be redone?
We wouldn't have done anything. We would have left it.
No, that's not true. At some point, like Louis would have been wrestling a bear, like a bear would come in, he would wrestle it, own the bear, and throw the bear through the drywall, and then you have to redo the whole office. Like something would happen.
And we would have a nice bearskin rug for our lobby.
Like eventually but that's what happens. Standards continue to slip until some giant event happens that then forces a reevaluation. What I'm saying is rage against the dying of the light, because it's dying everywhere and you need to focus on it. And with intention, you can come back.
I like it. I thank you. I don't know. I have literally nothing to say to it.
That's standards. That's loving it least. Things slip and we don't notice until something or somebody shines a light on it. And I want to encourage people to make you be that light on yourself. Instead of waiting for someone else to point it out, instead of waiting for your husband or wife to divorce you, instead of waiting for that friend in school to freak out on you after a year and a half of doing it wrong, instead of waiting for 5 years of kicking around the office, like instead of waiting for something else to happen, you force it on yourself. You rage against the dying of the light for yourself, to yourself constantly. So if you're unhappy,
I like
great.
it.
Shoot, you like it? See, it's a good quote.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm trying to think how to system. You don't have a system because whatever inspires you or excites you, you believe is divine, and so therefore you act on it. And I am doing that more. I mean, 2 weeks ago was when I said to Louis, "Oh, we're going to do this to the office space," and now we're here doing it. If this was Evan, it would have been like, tomorrow we're doing this kind of thing. But
this is what I think people need to pay more attention to. This is why people are feelers first. They've just forgotten how to tap into it. You need to constantly be evaluating the internal dialogue, how you feel about your life, about your relationships, about where you're at, whatever balance looks like to you. It's a constant evaluation of that. And when things feel off, you make micro adjustments instead of waiting for something to feel so off that you have to make a macro adjustment.
It's interesting though, because I love macro adjustments because they feel progressive and big, and micro adjustments. And I'm just learning this about myself actually over, like you want to take a really big swing at something. I'm the guy who can get really excited and get you really excited and tell you why taking that big swing is the most amazing thing. Make 34 really small changes and I get bored in the progress. Like I'm a big swing kind of guy. Like I need to get better at the other thing.
I think that's most people.
Okay. Most people are getting more like me than like you. Okay, cool.
No, I mean, me too, dude. I would much rather go and create a Facebook ad campaign that blows up than, we did 5% better than we did last month. Awesome. But there's a difference between chasing down those results still versus making the notice that, here, my goal, like you look at it in most of it's still gonna be habits. You look at you look at a relationship with my wife, your wife, right? If I'm looking at my relationship with Nina, if I constantly just waited for something giant to happen that pushes us to the brink of divorce, and then I'm gonna make this giant change because that's exciting, then you're self-sabotaging all the way through, as opposed to saying, like yesterday wasn't as good a day as it could have been. Let's make tomorrow better. Or let's make tonight a little bit better. It's maintaining extraordinary standards on the things that you care about. Not letting something collapse to zero or near zero before you, like the standards are when you actually step in to make a change. Those are standards. If you wait for something big to happen, then you have low standards because you've let it deteriorate to that point. Standards are what you do consistently. This is the achiever to high achiever. What most people do though is they let something wait for way too long. Like, you're not happy in that business or in that job or in that relationship, and you haven't owned up to your part of it, and you just stay there because you're afraid of whatever. They're not even afraid of doing the big thing. They're afraid of leaving the thing. They're living life like this is the only thing. Like if I leave that person and leave that job, I'll have nothing else to go to.
This is making me all like I can just feel my chest tightening and feel incredibly uncomfortable. And I'm trying to figure out why I'm feeling this way. As I'm listening to you talk, I'm just like, I can feel my body reacting to it. And I can't place why I'm having this physical
You're-
reaction to what you're saying right now.
You're worried that your standards are dropping everywhere, and that only doing these big off moments, realizing that it's not enough.
I mean, I'm worried that I'll never be extraordinary, or that I'm all talk and can't deliver, or, that's my big fear. That's something I've always been afraid of. And, if I look back at the things that excite me and the things I focus on, bouncing from thing to thing, not doing the things that I know I should do, doing the things I know that I shouldn't do, all of those human things. I read a quote on Instagram that should have made me feel good, and it didn't. It was like, an entrepreneur will work 80 hours per week to avoid having a 40-hour per week job. And then I went, I don't know, I'm not working 80 hours a week. Should I be working 80 hours a week? Am I working hard enough? Do I want it bad enough? Like, it's just, I can't help but think all of these thoughts all the time, And so it's not, I actually think that I'm way happier today than I was a year ago. And I think I'm much, much happier than I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years. Like, it's not even the same life.
It's not
I'm
even
living
close.
right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's not even, I think that's an, I know that's
No.
certainty.
That there are things that I've proven to myself about the type of person that I really am and what I'm really capable of. And I hope that it's only a sliver of what I could be.
This all circles around intentional living. It's intentional living. If you're looking at happiness, great. What does happiness mean to you? And then how can you bring more of that into your life? How many hours do you want to work as an entrepreneur, and then go and build that life? So that
I want to work a lot.
But you have your version of balance. What is balance? How much your version of balance right now, today, on June, when are we recording this? 11th, 2020. How many hours do you want to be working? What does it look like?
I want to be proud of my accomplishments every day. And I'm most proud when I work very, very hard, consistently, back to back for a long day. Yesterday, I was pretty proud of myself.
So,
so like, honestly, like, even with my new schedule, like, if I'm not getting up, I've known this about myself. I really enjoyed for a brief window the, like, using the no alarm, letting my body sleep as much as possible. And then I just started to feel bad about myself. I didn't feel like I was starting the day out well. I didn't feel like I had intentionality. I didn't feel like I was getting a jump on the day at 6:30 or 7 o'clock waking up. So getting up at 4:45 is important to me. If I could work from 5 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. and then put in another 2 or 3 hours, kind of between 9 and 11, consistently, those are the days that I feel like, because I'm so exhausted, those are the days I feel like I gave it my all. And I might take a run in the middle of the day, and obviously I help make dinner and spend time with the kids and all that stuff. But that's the day where it's like, that is a good day for me. I can't, right. I don't do that consistently enough.
But you're not thinking about it consistently enough either.
This is where it's like maybe limiting self-belief. I don't know how sustainable it is to work that much, that hard consistently and still be the husband I need to be and the father I need to be.
Well, that's why I asked you, what is your version of balance? What does balance look like for you? Not comparing yourself to somebody on Instagram who doesn't even work 80 hours a week and just post some stupid quote.
No. That's fine. It was just something that
these are the adjustments. How much time? It's time, but also focus time. Like time, 8 hours at the office doesn't mean you're crushing those 8 hours. And same thing.
Okay, so like here's a perfect example. So I've been running since COVID started. I've gotten really good at running. I like running now. I've gotten good at it. So I've been running 10Ks, and I thought, 10K just isn't enough. I finished a 10K, and honestly, I could just keep going, right? Like, it's not, so that's not challenging enough. So I reached out to our friend, Michael Lamont, and I know he's run the New York City Marathon and other things. He used to be a much larger guy. I used to be a much larger guy. He now runs. I thought maybe I could learn something from him. And I'm talking to him, and he goes, "Oh, dude, you can go to 15 kilometers. Like, that's nothing. You should probably go to 20. And I'm like, So now I can't go to 15 kilometers next. I have to go straight to 20 because he's telling me that 15 is just too easy for what I'm already doing. So I'm like, now I got to go to 20, but it means now I got to double the amount of time each day that I'm running.
Or you be creative.
Well, I've already done 2 a days. So
no, or you run with a 50-pound backpack on.
Oh, to make the 10K even harder.
If time is your constraint, then don't stretch out the time. You increase the incline. Pick a different hill.
Yeah. I've done that already as well. That's why I've texted or I've sent you IGs of me out in the country running with cows around.
Right.
It's because I'm going to go as far north as I can.
Dude, now you're doing a 10K through the woods with Louis on your back.
Okay. Yes. Increased intensity. I get what you're saying.
But that's it. It's like you're looking for. You need to have more creative options.
I'm going to do the 20K. I'm going to do the 20K for sure.
Yeah, but how much time do you want to spend? But you may not need to. Like you're after the feeling that you gave it your all, and you want to have an amazing day. So by going 20K and doubling at least the amount of time, you can probably run your first 10 faster than the second 10. So it's at least doubling your time. That double the time, your time is your opportunity cost. So you're going to spend that time not doing something else, not being a father, not being a husband, not being an entrepreneur, not. Now, if you're using that time to do meetings or your creative flow or whatever, and an hour is the perfect amount of time, awesome. But it's opportunity costing against other things, where if you just increase the intensity, you could do the same thing. This is the hacking. Like you can get the same result of feeling amazing for the effort you put in. Maybe you only run for 20 minutes instead of 30, but you come back to the driveway like you're going to die because you're carrying this 100-pound backpack. And then you still have 40 more minutes to go off and do and be intentional about something else. That's the constant micro adjustment game.
See, when you say these things, it seems so obvious, and I never even thought of that. This is the part of the podcast now where I get to feel foolish in front of the audience.
That's fine, but it was great to reach out to somebody who's done it, who's now pushed the limit. And if time is your issue, that's it. Just like when you go to a gym, it's increasing the curve, right? When you're on a treadmill, you increase what is it called?
Incline.
The incline, yeah, and it is harder. If you increase the incline but keep the same, or if you double the time on flat versus increase the incline, you'll feel tired a lot faster on the incline. And then you can say, I crushed it. I did the best that I could. Mm-hmm. So you start running with Rachel on your back, and it's father-daughter time. Let's go.
How uncomfortable would that be? My goodness, yes.
But I like this is where I love mixing things too. Like, why not? Why couldn't that be? Like you being at the office painting could also be the greatest father-daughter day of all time. We're
having a great day. It's amazing.
I think it's
to
great.
The point where I wanted to come back tomorrow, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not sure." And I'm like, "Come on, it's so good."
I think this is where understanding what balance looks like for you and integrating those things, like going on a run while doing your business calls for Entrepreneur Landmark, or checking in with your team, or running with your kid on your back, or running and Jonah's biking next to you, right? Like it can double up a physical activity.
Done all those things.
Great, but more.
I knew you were going to say that more.
But like it's most of the time, or you use the run to clear your head, or you use the run to post content, or like a physical activity can always be combined with a mental one. Mm-hmm. 2 mental tasks at the same time is where you lose it, where you say you're multitasking and you're not. But a physical can always be combined with a mental.
2 physical tasks at the same time is not really great either.
Yeah. So what is an intentional Mark look like when he's doing his run? If that's your time that's your meditation time, and you need time to just clear your head and not be around anything and be out in nature, and you get inspired by bees, great. Like this is
how well you know me. I love animals so much.
This is animals. Bees are not an animal, but this is your chance.
Bees are an insect. Insect live in the kingdom. I'm not into animals.
Whatever. if that's like, what's the best use of all of your day, right? That's the constant game. So when you're running, what's the best use of that running time? I'm running and I'm clearing my head. I'm running and I'm thinking about how I want to show up for my wife tonight. I'm running as a gap between work and home life, right? I'm running as a way to connect with my team and inspire them. I'm running as a way to form content to make them right? Like that's intentional. Balance, what does it look like? And then constantly evaluating, because at some point it will have to change. Like,
but you've taught me that obviously progression, I'm addicted to, progression, increased intensity. I like hard things. You've taught me that I do actually like hard things, because if things are easy, I ignore them, or I don't take them seriously enough, or I don't do them. I know that it's funny because I know that I'm not even a fraction of what I could be. I don't have what we could have. I'm not doing what I'm capable of. Like the potential side, I feel like is huge. So I have this confidence and this ego of like, I'm amazing. I realize as I'm saying this, I'm literally about to just say something you say all the time. So,
well, listen, if
I'm
you
amazing and I'm garbage is what I was about to say.
If you like doing hard things, then the hardest thing of all is staying consistent.
Yes.
That's much harder than just throwing Louis on your back and doing a run.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe I just caught myself just about to say something that you say all the time as if it's something new to me. Oh my goodness. What is happening to me today? I'm scattered, eh?
Basketball net.
It
still hurts.
I was about to say, I'm amazing and I'm garbage at the same time.
Right? So those are the constant micro tweaks that you have to make, because the ultimate that I don't think anybody's at, maybe some Zen monk, something. I mean, this is what I aspire to be, is to be intentional in every moment. That this day is what I want to create, and it's going how I want. I'm showing up how I want as an entrepreneur, as a father, husband, friend, all of it. And those.
But would you not say it's easier for you because you are so already present focused? I can see it easier because like we're good friends and I can see how present you are. I can see how I'm so stuck in the future. I can see how my wife is so stuck in the past. Like I can just part of me feels like it's baked into us. Like it's baked into you that you're so present focused. Is it not?
No, it's been work. You've seen the evolution over the years too. It's been work.
I've seen a lot of growth in a lot of areas for sure, but you've always been very present.
So work on being present.
Part of me thinks this comes naturally to you. Like, we're on an airplane flying somewhere and you say, so what are we going to do? So what are we going to do? And I'm like thinking like, we'll talk about this tomorrow. And you're like, no, like right now, what are we going to do right now? Like you're just, I'm so focused on we'll get to it. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll figure this out.
It's still the belief that it's possible. If you're sitting there saying, well, I'm just wired that way, then you don't make change. It's the exact same thing as the happy fat guy or skinny angry guy. That was your belief. So then you didn't change. If I'm only present because that's how Evan Carmichael was born, then guess what? You don't change. At the beginning, I think it's helpful to have a schedule. When you don't know how to make the micro adjustments, you have rules to follow, because then you just fall apart because you don't know what you're doing. Like if you're trying to ride a skateboard, you're probably going to fall off the whole time. But in riding the skateboard, you're making constant micro adjustments so that you don't fall off. And when you go over a stick, you make an adjustment, right? You're constantly making adjustments as you ride the skateboard. But at the beginning, you don't know anything. So you're following the rules. The rules right now are your schedule. When you don't know what you're doing and your life's out of control, you follow your schedule. As you gain more practice and experience, you make the tweaks. Because you're riding the skateboard of life. There's going to be adjustments. What makes you proud? When I broke my neck, it made me proud just to get out of bed. Just to like sit up and not fall over.
Dude, it made you proud that you answered the question so thoroughly to the EMS.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But
you're like, I'm the greatest patient who's ever broken his
of all
neck
time.
ever.
I still feel it. Even here's the thing. Even if they felt like nothing special happened, in my head, I feel like that was a moment. And even if they don't say it, I know that they felt it. You know, I think that's very healthy. But I went physical.
On the chart where it says refuses medication, or not medication, pain, whatever it's called.
Yeah, well, it's making me dizzy.
Drugs.
But I went physical because this is what's hard for people. You hit your 10K and now what? Because you're still addicted to the result of being able to say, I hit 10K, I hit 15K, but you're going to tap out at some point. Or it's just going to take you all day. You're just going to be running all day long.
No, it's I like overcoming things that I think I can't do. Overcoming the things that scare me, or the things I can't do, are the only really rewarding,
it's a moving line,
satisfying things.
It's a moving line, because as the world changes and your life changes, what that is that you can't overcome. This is where people fall into big traps. Like, I was doing workouts every day, almost. No, on the tour, I was doing workouts every day, and then I couldn't even get out of bed. So my standard for what a good workout would be, I was doing the workouts. I was like every day doing it, even if we were tired. And then all of a sudden, I can't even get out of bed. So I had to change how I rewarded myself to say, oh, I suck because I can't even do a push-up. It was that just getting out of bed is a amazing feat. It's because the effort was harder for me to get out of bed those first few days versus doing the workouts that I was doing a week before. So you're going to have your perfect schedule, and then something's going to happen, right? This is to Mike Tyson. You have a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yes. I have my schedule. We've talked about it on the podcast. I did time block things. I pulled an Evan and was willing to cancel everything for these 3 days because I believe that my office is important.
Including canceling on Evan and his important projects. Wednesday is supposed to be Evan Day. So I have it scheduled in. Like, okay, Mark, we'll do anything today? 2 hours later, a response. All right.
I texted, I messaged you earlier in the morning, and I said that super, super busy.
But here's the thing. Now, how do you rebound? Like, after, that's a perfect example, right? Like, first off, even sharing, like what happened? You know, I'm sitting here expecting to go back and forth, ideas, whatever. Even knowing that this is something really important to you that you're working on, great. If you feel bad about it, you also like, I'm sorry for being a bad friend or whatever, right? Then this is a little micro moment that happened. Like, you're not going to now be a professional renovator and every week change up your office, right? It's going to be done in a short amount of time, and then you go back to your regular life. How can you then incorporate the things that you were missing? So if you let me down, how do you make that up? If you let your wife down, how do you make that up? If you let your team down, how do you make that up? Recognizing that this is an important part of balance for you, right? If you didn't worry at all about it, if you're like, okay, whatever, screw this guy, Evan, forget it, then great. Like, it's not important to you. That's good awareness. You don't need to worry about it ongoing. But the punch in the face could also be inspiration. It doesn't only have to be something negative. And we often don't follow the inspiration.
I don't know how to give enough time to, like, I feel stretched too thin. I don't know how to give enough time to enough things with consistently.
You rewind the tape
to be able to, yes.
You rewind the tape.
Great. Okay. And I listen back, and
you create the schedule that equals balance for you, right? That maps to your ambition. You create your schedule, and then you stick to the schedule. And I've
created that schedule. I've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's helped in some areas, and it's not helped me in other areas. So
great. But your schedule needs, like, the first version of the schedule sucked. And so the reaction is to change the schedule. Well, it's fine. Like, you think you know what you want, and then you start doing it. It's like, oh, I gave way too much time for that, and I kind of wasted some time, and then not nearly enough for this thing over here, and I need to tweak it around. So great. You went through a couple versions of your schedule in 3 weeks. You're going to have to go through a couple more so that it actually maps. So on a normal day, this is how you want to show up. And if a Saturday is different than a Thursday, Awesome. Rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light, fam. Standards are slipping.
I didn't even think, with how much I feel like I've been crushing it the last few weeks, at the same time, I didn't think I'd come out of this conversation feeling as bad as I do now.
No, you feel great. This is awesome.
No, like not bad about myself. Guilty, like ashamed, guilty, like I'm not doing as well as I should. And yeah.
Turn it into something.
Yeah.
Turn it into something. Sitting there in guilt and shame doesn't help. Turn it into something. What do you want to change? Like this is the moment. This is what just happened. Like we started raging against the dying of the light. We made it bigger. When the light is dying, nobody notices, and then poof, it's out, and then everybody freaks out. Right? Mm-hmm. We're raging against the dying of the light. This is the point, right? It's not only making a change when something is gone or almost gone. It's the fact that it started to slip. So it's putting yourself, we're blowing this thing up more than it should or needs to be to reset it so that you stay on the path.
To make it uncomfortable and painful enough.
So that you want to make the change. That
you would actually change, yeah.
And you stay on it. And it's like, that's what standards are.
Because that's something that happened to me after the second Tony Robbins trip, is like I got very comfortable and started loving embarrassingly painful things. Not in the moment, but in retrospect. So like when something really bad happens, I feel bad about it, but usually within an hour or two, I'm able to go, this is the best. This is the best. This is amazing, because now it's like just so embarrassingly painful, or we made such a ridiculous mistake that, or I can't believe I thought that or said that you're like, you just have to like, be like, wow, it's so bad that we have no choice but to change it. This is what a gift we were given, that things are as bad as they are.
So turn it into positive.
I like the painfulness. I just, I want to make sure that I'm not all talk, that I'm not just apologizing to everyone all the time, that I'm not, I'm actually backing things up with action and things like that. Like me continually telling you, I feel like I'm letting you down. I feel like,
what are you doing right now?
Sorry.
All you're doing right now is more talking. So go do something.
This is a podcast. It's a podcast. We're supposed to talk.
Listen, you took me on a tour of your office. That's doing. But that's it. This feeling, now you turn into action. Where are you missing out? Where are you not intentional? And this is for me too. This is a constant voice inside my head. Did I show up as I wanted to? No. Okay, and you never show up as you want to. This is the high achiever. You never show up exactly as you want to. Very rarely, like in 99.9% of the time, you're not showing up exactly like you want to. And that's the constant pursuit of perfection. But the difference between 99.9 and 99.8.
The pursuit of perfection. Didn't think I'd ever hear you say that.
Yeah, it's the pursuit of perfection.
Aren't you anti-perfection?
Of course.
Okay.
I'm never going to hit it. And I want to be proud of my effort to go chase it down. But I'm chasing it down. I'm trying to solve a problem that's unsolvable.
Right.
It's the same thing. But the difference is, if you hit it 99.9 versus 99.8, that's raging against the dying of the light. Like, we lost 0.1%. Let's fix this thing. Are you kidding me? Not waiting for it to get to 20% like most people.
I like this. This is an inspiring conversation. I wonder if the listeners are as inspired as I am right now.
If you want to know why, you have to love it least instead of love it less. And why that makes sense? Check the video right there next to us. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and we'll see you there.